stop solving sample papers. Yes, you heard me right. Now, before you get angry on me, just listen to me once. I'm Aditi, your physics teacher, and today I'm here to tell you that do not solve those sample papers. Ma'am, what are you saying? We don't have to solve sample papers. Everyone, my peers are solving sample papers. Teachers on YouTube are telling us to solve sample papers. My teachers in school are telling me to solve sample papers. So why are you telling me not to solve sample papers? These conditions, because of these conditions, I don't want you to solve sample paper because you haven't solved PYQs yet. Why I'm telling you, let's go about it step by step. I don't want you to solve sample paper if your syllabus is just incomplete. You have not revised, you have not studied, and you have started doing sample papers. So what will happen? You won't be able to see. You are done with the chapter electricity, okay, and then you move on to light. And in sample paper, you will get questions from all light, human eye, and heredity, and metals and non-metals. Everything will be there in your sample paper, but you haven't revised everything. What that will do? That will like you won't be able to solve those questions from these chapters that you haven't done, right? And then you will get panic. You'll get underconfident that I was not able to solve these questions. But what actually is happening? Your syllabus is not complete. How can you give the exam when your revision is not done? So focus on revision first. Focus on completing your whole syllabus. And if you have less time, if you have not started studying from the start of the year, if you have just started studying, at least focus on high weightage topics. At least focus on the topics that are more important, that are being asked repeatedly in your PYQs. Okay, which brings us to the second point. Now we have, if your syllabus is 70%, then sample paper will look impossible. You won't be able to solve that, and that is not your mistake. That is because your syllabus is incomplete, right? Now you haven't solved PYQs, which brings us to the second point. You are jumping directly to sample papers without doing PYQs. You have not done the questions. You have not seen what kind of questions CBSE asked. Let's say from the chapter heredity, a certain kind of question is being asked. Okay, a kind of question has been asked, and you have not you don't know that CBSE asked this particular question. It is being repeated every year. It asks these kind of questions every day, every year, right? And you are preparing for something else altogether. You are preparing for itty-bitty things from your NCERT, but that is not important. Important is your high weightage chapter, your very important chapters. Those are the chapters, the topics, the concepts which are important, and you are skipping those. Why? Because you have not studied previous year. So the main thing here is to study your PYQs. Study your PYQs, right? How? Firstly, go about it chapter wise. First, you study heredity. Go to just search PYQs on YouTube, and you'll get PYQs of YouTube from heredity, right? And you'll get PYQs of electricity, PYQs of light on YouTube. You don't have to give much effort. Just start doing PYQs first chapter wise. Then we can decide to move to sample papers, because we now know what kind of question CBSE actually asks, right? And what kind of questions do we just have to skip from NCERT. Okay, now next is don't solve it sample papers without time pressure. Now ma'am, I am done with the revision. I am done with PYQs. Now can I solve sample papers? Yes, you can, but you have to solve those sample papers under time pressure. You're solving, you're sitting in your room and you're scrolling phone, you solved one question, scrolling phone, solved another question. That is not how it works. You have to create a proper exam like environment, because in the exam you have to complete the whole paper in just 3 hours. Right? That is a lot less time, correct? So I want you to make a proper environment. Ask your mother or father or your sibling to separate out, to don't come into your room and for 3 hours, and sit down properly, have a water bottle with you, have proper scale, pen, pencil, eraser, sharpener, everything with you to solve that sample paper. Okay, understood? This is not your bedroom. Practice like it is your board, not your bedroom. Okay, not like you are in your bedroom. Done. And these are some of the tips. Nahi ma'am, now you have told us कि sample paper mat karo, don't do sample paper. No, I have told you don't do sample paper without completing the syllabus, without time pressure, without doing PYQs first. Solve the sample papers only after you are done with your syllabus, only after you are done revising, because what will happen now, you will feel panic that I am not able to solve these questions. You will get underconfident. You will be like, I don't know anything. You will panic and you won't know then what to do. So what to do exactly? Complete your chapter revision first, then solve the chapter wise PYQs, then move to marking those weak chapters. You analyze this, that yes, electricity is my weak chapter, take it apart, write it down somewhere and revise it again and again. Revise the formulas, circuit diagrams again and again. Give it proper time. Okay, same with all subjects, not just physics, not just science, not just math. Revise it with every subject. Do this with every subject. Revise the chapters first, the theory first, move to the PYQs, then to weak chapters, revise them again, okay, and then write mistakes in a separate mistake notebook. Take out one notebook and write all the weak chapters in there, and then make a page for every chapter you have revised. Write down what PYQs you did and what was the mistake, where did you got stuck. Okay, write that down and then revise those topics. And after all this, solve the sample papers, right? After all this, solve your sample papers. Then you will be able to evaluate yourself if you are prepared for the exam, if you are not, where you should work on, where you should not waste your time. Done. So only revise sample papers after following these in order. Done. Okay, tata, bye bye.